You've probably been there. You see a $150 budget greenhouse on a garage sale type website, you roll the dice, and a few weeks later you're trying to patch a leaky roof with duct tape while your seedlings wilt under a sudden rainstorm. The regret that follows feels almost predictable, especially when the cheap frame bends after the first wind gust. So, does the AMERLIFE 12,108-foot hybrid polycarbonate greenhouse feel like a smarter buy? Or is it just another overpromised garden gadget? Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. When I first started digging into the greenhouse market, the biggest thing that kept me from clicking add to cart was the sheer variety of claims. Some manufacturers scream ultra-lightweight, others boast industrial-grade steel, and a few promise year-round growing without explaining how they handle snow loads or ventilation. The AMERLIFE model tries to answer those questions by blending a reinforced aluminum frame with hybrid polycarbonate panels, and by offering a quick connect assembly system that says you'll have it up in about 6 hours with 3DI savvy friends. That promise sounded good on paper, but the real test is how that translates to daily life in a backyard that sees both scorching summer days and occasional winter storms. First off, the frame. The aluminum is thickened at key stress points, which means the structure should hold up better than the featherlight models you see on discount sites. In practice, that matters when you're pulling the greenhouse into place after a March wind that leaves a half-ton of snow on your driveway. The reinforced sections keep the corners from popping outward, and the overall rigidity means you won't constantly be adjusting bolts after each gust. If you live in a region that gets more than a few inches of snowfall, this added sturdiness is a genuine safety net. On the flip side, that same reinforcement makes the unit a tad heavier than the ultralight alternatives, so you'll need a little more muscle or a dolly when positioning it on the ground for the first time. The hybrid polycarbonate panels are the next big talk point. The company mixes clear panels for maximum sunlight with translucent ones that soften the light, reducing the risk of overheating on hot days. In my garden test, the clear sections let in plenty of UV-rich light, which helped my tomato seedlings sprout 5 days faster than they did under a standard polyethylene cover. The translucent panels, meanwhile, acted like a natural diffuser, keeping the interior temperature a couple of degrees more stable during a peak-hour heat spike. This mix also gives you a bit of privacy if you plan to use the space for a sitting area or a potting bench. However, the polycarbonate does at a modest cost premium compared to flat PE film shelters, and the panels are heavier to handle during assembly. If you're on a tight budget and are willing to replace the covering every few years, the cheaper film might still make sense. Ventilation and drainage are where the AMERLIFE really tries to earn its keep. 2 adjustable roof vents let you fine-tune airflow without having to climb up and manually open a window. In the middle of a midsummer afternoon, I opened the vents a quarter turn and watched steam escape, dropping interior humidity just enough to prevent a mini fungus outbreak on my basil leaves. The vents are linked to the roof's slope, so rain slides off rather than pooling, and there's an integrated drainage system that channels excess water away from the base. For growers who are serious about keeping humidity in check, those vents are a practical feature you won't find on many entry-level models. That said, the vent controls are plastic knobs that can feel a little flimsy after repeated adjustments. If you expect to be tweaking them daily, you might find the knobs wear quicker than you'd like. Space is another selling point. At 435 cuft of usable volume, this greenhouse comfortably fits a range of setups, a row of raised beds, a series of container pots, or even a small lounge area with a couple of chairs and a table. I set up a potting station on one side, arranging my seed trays and a small hose reel, while the opposite end housed 2 large 5-gallon buckets of nutrient solution that I could refuel without stepping outside. The interior height 8 feet means you can stand upright without ducking, which is a huge comfort if you're spending several hours a day pruning, transplanting, or just enjoying the scent of fresh soil. For families who want a dual-purpose space gardening plus a spot to sip coffee, on a rainy day the volume feels generous. Conversely, If you're only interested in a simple seedling starter, the size may feel excessive, and you'll be paying for more square footage than you need. Now, who should actually buy this greenhouse? If you're a hobbyist gardener who wants a reliable, season-spanning structure, and you have a bit of backyard space to spare, the AMERLIFE checks the boxes. Its reinforced frame, hybrid panels, and built-in ventilation give you the flexibility to grow tomatoes, peppers, and even some cold-tolerant greens throughout most of the year. It also appeals to anyone who wants a